We may have just seen the greatest high school sports team ever compete at Nike Cross Nationals. My name is Landon Rank. I am a runner for the NIWOT Cougars, and we just saw NIWOT win back-to-back boys NXN titles, having the lowest score ever, scoring 61 points as they blew their competition out of the water. Harriman was in second with 97, a comfortable 30-point win for the NIWOT Cougars. They had Quinn Sullivan and Hunter Robbie in the top 7, and they had a couple guys in the 20s, and I believe Jude Ritzenheim at 40. What a race for NIWOT. And today we're going to talk about why this isn't the end of this legacy, why Coach Kelly Christensen, my coach, continues to pump great athletes into this NIWOT system and continues to develop athletes to the fullest. And we'll talk a little bit about the girls' race. The girls surprisingly getting second only, losing by 7 points. It came down to the end. They were leading through the first couple Ks, and it came down to the last K. But they fought their way to second place, and why second place is not a failure for NIWOT. Let's get right into it. Again, my name's Landon Rank. This is a biased opinion, obviously, as someone who is an athlete on this team. But, man, I'm just so proud of the team we just watched today. Last year, they came into NXN, the boys-wise, for only the second time ever in NIWOT history. They had qualified the previous year to NXN, and I believe they got 5th. And then last year, they came in and were not favored to win NXN. They weren't even favored to get on the podium, and they came and stunned the world and won NXN in a giant upset. And this year, they were coming in as very heavy favorites. This was not a surprise to see our boys winning the national championship. As someone who's on the team, you could tell all year that these guys were locked in and they were ready to go. And that's why when I made my claim that this is not the greatest, just not the greatest cross-country team, this could be better than some of the greatest sports teams we've ever seen in any sport, period. And I think it's because when you look at this overall program and when you look at what NIWOT High School has done, this really proves that this is currently at least the best program in the country in any sport in the country. What Kelly Christensen is doing here at NIWOT High School is extremely, extremely amazing. And I don't know if any football team, any basketball team, any baseball team, any team in the whole country can do this, where they can have a boys team dominate a national championship and sneak in a girls team to get second place. We'll start with the girls' race really quickly. Addie Ritzenheim was a favorite to win NXN, and she had a bit of an off day, ending up in the 30s, I believe, in NXN. The girls did take second place, and that was a big difference. I think if Addie Ritzenheim would have been in the top 10, the girls would have won this race a lot easier, and I think that really made a big difference. And I think that, obviously, I know this as a runner, sometimes you have bad days, and the boys had a pretty good day, and the girls seem to have, there were a lot of girls that stepped up on the NIWOT side with Addie Ritzenheim not having the best day. But that's a big recap of the girls. The girls did not qualify for NXN, and as an automatic bid, they had to have one of the other bids, which were announced a couple weeks earlier. But, man, I'm just so happy. I don't think it's a surprise that the boys won a back-to-back national championship, but let's just talk a little bit about this program's culture. For anybody who doesn't watch high school cross country, which I don't blame you. Before I moved to Colorado, I had never watched a lick of cross country in my whole life. And now as someone who's been on this team for 2 years, I know how much this means to this program. Kelly Christensen, the NIWOT coach, comes in almost 10 years ago and brings a NIWOT program that lives in this area, Boulder, Colorado, that has some of the best runners in the whole country. The professional runners, they come and train out here. They've been doing it for years. The book Running with the Buffaloes talks about the CU teams from the 90s, about how they attracted a lot of Olympians and professional runners out here to this Boulder area. And with NIWOT being one of those schools in the Boulder area, it's in between Fort Collins and Boulder, having that area as kind of central location. I believe NIWOT is about 76% open enrolled. So to see NIWOT as a program to be open enrolled, the majority, 3/4 of the schools open enrolled, so they didn't go to the feeder middle school. It allows some of the best runners in the country to come to NIWOT and get developed. And we saw that this year with Jude Ritzenheim just adding to this future of NIWOT cross country and, making it a moment that I think we realized that NIWOT, might win NXN again next year. I mean, looking at this future with some of the guys that are on this team, bringing back Jude, Quinn, and Garrett, and you got guys like Noah Barrios, one of my good friends, waiting in the wings. You got guys, all across the board. This freshman class was absolutely amazing. Such an amazing freshman class. This is truly maybe the best freshman class in the nation. And this freshman class at NIWOT, cross country wise, I don't know about any other sport wise, but this was definitely the best cross country class in the nation. And 3 years ago, when the current seniors came into NIWOT, they were definitely the best freshman class in the nation to themselves. But what a great career. Great to see my guys, Hunter Robbie and Gabe Marshall, Ryder, and Rocco go out with the national championship. I mean, Quinn Sullivan, he's never, not made it to NXN in his running. Freshman, sophomore, junior, he's been at NXN all 3 years. So great to see out of Quinn. And, it was just an amazing race. I want to kind of back up my claim, because the title of this video is "We might have just seen the greatest high school sports team ever." And a lot of people are arguing and say Newberry Park from 2019 to 2022 with Nico Young and his brother, that might have been the best team. And then you look other sports-wise, you've seen Chino Hills. See, there's all these schools come from California. You've seen schools like that, and there's been many dominant football programs that win state championships in and out. But here's the thing about cross-country. Cross-country and basketball are both sports that have boys and girls teams. So Chino Hills basketball women's team was not to the level of their boys team when the Ball brothers were there. This NIWOT team is amazing on both levels. This is not a school that only has one good team on the boys' side or one good team on the girls' side. This is a team that is pretty evenly matched, and I would say it does get a little bit favored by the boys' side, but I think the girls just proved that the girls are not too far away from winning an NXN title, and why I have faith that the NIWOT girls can win NXN next year, even with losing Addie and Anna and other girls like that, is because of the freshman class that we got at NIWOT this year. And for those, again, who don't really watch high school cross country, what has basically happened with NIWOT is, I'll give a football analogy. It's like you get this really good team all around in high school football, and you win 4 consecutive state titles, and all of the guys that won the state title the first time were freshmen, and a couple of sophomores or juniors, but there were no seniors. So you guys were saying to yourselves, we got a chance to win the state championship next year and the next year after that, and you keep doing that, and then eventually you reach a point, and most teams, this is where it's like, okay, now this isn't college. This is an NFL. You're not signing your players back. These kids have to go to college. They have to go and pursue their degree or whatever. They go to the workforce or wherever after high school. But it seems like NIWOT just brings them more players back in. It's almost like the perfect version of college. This is what I still like about high school sports, is high school sports are what I wish college sports would be like sometimes. There's no NIL. The players just come to have fun. You look at high school football, right? No one's trying to get $1 million NIL deal. Some guys are trying to make it to college. It's kind of like trying to make it to the NFL. Some guys' goal is just to play for fun and, get to go to a good college. That's kind of like playing in college and saying, I'm not going to make it to the NFL, but my goal is just to have a great football career and go and have a great job afterwards. We see this, but that example to understand where NIWOT's been at is, it's like every single time it's like, okay, this guy's leaving, then suddenly this amazing freshman class comes in and replaces it. And I'll be honest, my class of 2028, we're sophomores currently, we haven't lived up to that hype, and this freshman class is definitely covered for us. And I think next year's freshman class is also pretty good. So this NIWOT team is not going away anytime soon, boys or girls-wise. The boys are still going to be strong. We got 3 more years with Jude Ritzenheim. We got Quinn and Garrett going in there last year. This team is a team to watch and a team. And what Coach Kelly Christensen has done at NIWOT is amazing, and it should be looked at, in my opinion, and this is obviously biased because he's my coach, he is right now the greatest high school sports coach, period, in any sport. Find me a coach that has almost won a state title every single year. Find me a coach that can bring in athletes and win a national championship back-to-back years. Find me a coach that continues to put athletes in a system and bring them out to some of the top athletes that go on and run in the Olympics or go on to run professional careers. Find me a coach like that in football, in basketball, in baseball. I promise you, I've looked around. It does not happen. And in this modern day where the college The door's being knocked on high school. NIL could be coming to high school in the future. As much as people say we're not that close, I say it is closer because these kids already can get NIL deals. We saw with Addy 2 years ago. But these kids also already are committing to colleges before they even enter senior year. And they know where they're going and they know what's going on. And so just to see what has happened is so amazing. And watching the post game and hearing Jude say this might be the best team ever in running. And I totally agree with him. And I think this is the best team ever, period, in high school. I don't think we have ever found a team this good. And it's hard to compare because, right, high school sports, there's not as much competitiveness as there is in college, right? 50 years ago, of course, there wasn't the greatest high school cross country team because no one, had as much faith or tried as hard into high school sports as they do nowadays. But man, what a great performance by NIWOT. Back-to-back NXN champions. We might have to get new t-shirts. And yeah, I bet you guys didn't know I like cross country too. I don't just make Iowa Hawkeyes content. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. We got more content coming. Iowa's bowl game will be announced tomorrow. And as always, it's a great day to be a Hawkeye and be a Cougar. Let's freaking go.